Hey everyone, this week we're going to go ahead and put Cardistry up against Magic. Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here with some more advice for magicians. Now, before we dive into today's topic, I wanted to make some really quick announcements. I haven't been posting as often as I'd like, as you guys can see, for a few reasons. Number one, I'm actually finishing up a full-on project on the close-up rings. That project is actually set to come out in the next few weeks. So stick around, keep your eyes open for Ninja Plus sessions. You guys have probably already seen a lot of ring magic being posted on my channel lately. Most of that stuff is going to actually be featured in this project. So if you already perform the close-up linking rings and you're looking for something really awesome to add to your set, I really suggest you check it out. And if you're one of those people that aren't really into the classics too much and you think that the Ninja rings is kind of outdated, go ahead and check out this project anyway, because I assure you, this is gonna bring a whole lot of life into the close-up rings, especially if it's one of those things that you're kind of shy to perform because you don't really think that, you know, it fits your style or anything like that. So anyways, Ninja Plus Sessions is set to come out. There's not an official release date yet, but it is going to come out within the next month or so. So stay tuned. The other thing that I've been working on is setting up my community marketplace. Now this is a place for magicians from all over the world to post their downloads and actually sell them to the community. So very similar to Theory 11 or Penguin Magic or any of those other major distributors. My outlet is just one more place for people to post their products and try to sell them. So if you guys have any awesome tricks or anything that you're working on, things that you want to start selling and making some extra cash on, go ahead, head over to OBrienMagic.com/community marketplace and check out the community marketplace on my magic shop. Because like I said, we're selling a lot of really cool stuff there. We already have a handful of tricks up and I'm only, started posting things like a week or so ago, and we're already making sales on that page. The page goes official June 1st, so if you want your trick up and ready to be sold before June 1st, before I start dumping some advertising into it, you want to go ahead and submit as soon as possible. And then the third thing I'd like to announce is that I'm restarting my Patreon page. So if you guys are really digging this channel and you want to see me continue to putting out more content just like this, please head over to my Patreon page. For just $1, you get access to a ton of free stuff from my website, including the Tour de Force Complete Series download. You get to check out my whole Triumph DVD series there. And a bunch of other cool stuff like exclusive videos and tutorials and stuff that you don't really have access to on my channel unless you are a Patreon patron. So go ahead, head over there, subscribe to my Patreon channel, help me out if you don't mind. I really appreciate anything that you guys can do. And for those of you who have already been donating, again, thank you so much. You guys are awesome, and you guys are the reason why I'm able to continue doing what I do. For moving on through the future, anyone that becomes a new Patreon patron, I am going to shout you out on my YouTube channel right here. So that everyone can see everyone that is a Patreon patron. So if you guys want your name displayed right here on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and do that. All right, now that all of the crazy announcements are out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the topic of this video. So there's a few things that I wanted to talk about. First, this is not a bashing on cardistry video. I happen to really enjoy cardistry. I'm terrible at it. I can't do it very well myself. But I really love seeing people that are good cardists being able to flourish. I mean, it is a really beautiful thing to watch. It's a very artistic style that I really appreciate. So in this video, we're going to kind of talk about what is cardistry exactly, what is magic, and then does cardistry and magic go together? And if so, how can you accomplish that? So first, what is cardistry? Cardistry in its most simplest form is any kind of art or flourishing using a deck of playing cards. So, doing these beautiful fans and card springs and shooting cards out of the deck and catching them, or any kind of awesome looking flourish can be considered cardistry. Also, even just artwork using, you know, playing cards, like origami or, you know, isolated, you know, sculptures using cards. All of these things can be considered in that same kind of concept of cardistry, which is taking playing cards and turning them into art or doing something beautiful with them. So now, what is magic? Magic is kind of the opposite of cardistry. You know, cardistry is a display of skill, where in magic, it's supposed to be the display of the impossible. The magician or the person doing the magic should not look like they're working very hard to achieve the thing that they're achieving. So ultimately, the main difference between cardistry and magic is when you're doing cardistry, you know, people are going to be very impressed with your skills. Whereas with magic, people are going to be very mystified and, you know, like, how did you do that? It shouldn't look like the, you know, the person doing the magic is very skilled at all. So does magic and cardistry go together? I mean, it's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Can they go together? The answer is yes and no. So cardistry and magic do kind of butt heads a little bit. And the reason for that is because if you are a magician and you're trying to convince someone that you're doing something impossible, you cannot use cardistry to do that. Cardistry is going to basically tell the audience that you have a lot of practice on your hands, that you're a very skilled technician and you're able to manipulate the cards because you've worked very hard to learn the skills necessary to be able to do that. So it wouldn't be considered magic because, you know, it's just how talented of a technician you are. Whereas, like I said, in magic, you want to basically do as little as possible and still have the effect happen. So here's an example of ambitious card routine. For those who are not familiar with the ambitious card plot, like probably 0.0001% of you, basically any kind of ambitious card routine is where a card is lost into the deck and then appears on top of the deck again and again and again and again. So using cardistry to do this might, you know, be this kind of example where the card is placed into the deck is shuffled, the magician does several fancy flourishy cuts, shoots the card out of the middle of the deck, catches it, and then turns it over, revealing it to be the card that the person chose. It's very flashy, it's very visual, and it's a great display of skill, you know, that the technician is able to manipulate the cards in such a way, and then, you know, find the card that the person selected. It isn't magic though, because there's no magic being involved or being used here. It's literally just a display of skill. Very beautiful to watch, but like I said, it isn't magic. So what would the magic form of this be? How would a magician use magic to perform the ambitious card? A magician would take the card, very slowly and very carefully place it into the deck, push the card square into the deck, snap their fingers or wave their hand over the deck, say some kind of magic word maybe, and then the card suddenly appears on top. It doesn't look like the magician did anything. They just put the card in the deck, wave their hand over the deck, and now the card has appeared on the top again. So now it is no longer a display of skill, but it is a, wow, how did you do that kind of reaction. So now that we are very clear on the difference between cardistry and magic, how can we actually combine them together? I actually do this in a way, like I said, I'm not very good at cardistry, but I do some 3-packet cuts and one-handed cuts, you know. But anyway, how do I do it? So in my ambitious card routine, my goal is to make it build on itself so that it becomes more and more impossible, closing doors along the way. So when I say closing doors, basically, I mean, you know, the audience might have some idea of how it works, and then I basically say, nope, that's not how it works, by, you know, proving that theory that they came up with in their mind to be incorrect. So my ambitious card, just for the sake of this video, let's talk about a 3-phase ambitious card. My ambitious card is a little longer than 3 phases, but I want to talk about the 3 most important phases of my routine, which are the ones that build on themselves and increased impossibility along the way. So the first phase, the card is selected, so the card is signed, it's placed back into the pack, I do some fancy cuts and whatnot, and the card ends up on top of the deck. So the audience has an opportunity to say, wow, like that was really cool, but I think that the magician just cut the card back to the top and misdirected me with all of those fancy moves that he was doing, which honestly is the case. That's exactly how I did it, right? But I don't want them to think that they know that. So I say, you know, but a lot of magicians will try to confuse you doing this. I want to try to do this very, very slowly so that you can see that I'm not just, you know, using sleight of hand or trying to confuse you to make the card come up to the top. So now this is when I take the card very openly, place it back into the pack, square it up, and then very slowly, you know, I'll wave my hand over the deck or do some kind of magic move, and then I'll very slowly turn the card over and reveal that it is their signed card back on top of the deck again. So now we went from, oh, it must be sleight of hand, to, wait a minute, like, how did you do that? So it builds on its level of impossibility, and it closes that door of sleight of hand along the way. Now, the third phase is where I actually take the magic completely out of my hands and I do it in the spectator's hands. So the way that I do this is I take the spectator's selected card, I ask them to cut the deck in half. I place their card in the middle of the deck, they close the deck, and now they are holding the deck. And I tell them, you know, I still might be able to do some kind of, you know, quick fingers. Maybe the hand is quicker than the eye, and it didn't look like I moved very quick, but maybe I did. So now that you have full control over the cards, I want you to know that the card really does just appear on the top of the deck. I don't even have to be holding the cards. In fact, you can do it too. They do their little move, snap their fingers, whatever they want to do for their magic move. They turn the top card over and their card still appears on the top of the deck. So now that closed another door along the way of, you know, maybe he just did something sneaky and I didn't see it. How could he have? I am controlling the cards the whole time. So, like I said, this builds on the level of impossibility. It gets more and more, less and less complicated from a technical aspect, or at least should I say from a visual aspect, you know, like what the audience is perceiving to be difficult, right? The sleights that we use might actually be even more difficult in the, you know, slow version. But again, that's what magic is. It's not necessarily how hard or difficult something is for you, but it's all about perception, how difficult it appears to be to the audience. So you can use a super complicated sleight, but if the audience thinks that you're just putting the card in the middle of the deck and not doing anything and then it comes up to the top, that is magic. So anyways, like I said, that's how I, you know, combine cardistry and magic together. Cardistry and magic are two completely ends of the spectrum, but they can be used together in specific instances if you really want to enhance the magic. You cannot present cardistry as magic because, like I said, cardistry is just a display of skill, whereas magic is a display of the impossible. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to do my absolute darnest to try to get more videos like this back out. Thank you so much for those of you guys who stuck around, even though I haven't been posting so much. It really means a lot to me. Like I said, I'm really going to try to get more videos up more often. As soon as these projects that I'm working on right now are finished, I promise I'm going to be doing more uploads. But anyway, my name is Michael O'Brien. If you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And if you have any questions for me, if you have any comments or thoughts on cardistry or magic, or if you just have a suggestion for some kind of topic that you would like to see me discuss in a future video, go ahead and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until next time, I'll see you guys with more advice for magicians. Take care.